references to look into. Okay, so then look here now. It was talking about layout guide and safe area, right? Then before that it was talking about auto layout. So it's talking about different sections under this, right? Device screen size. So keep in mind these are different areas it's talking, right? Adaptivity and layout. Under that, now you know there are different screen sizes and orientations, right? Then you know there is auto layout. You don't know much, but at least you know there's something called auto layout which can automatically take care of automatically adapting into different environments based on the constraints you have given. So something like that, right? And then you know that you have to use the safe area and the layout guides, after that it talks about size classes, right? So this is another thing which you have to understand, and this mainly comes under that second option. Now recall what I said earlier, guys. I said two options, right? You remember I said one option is what? I said one option is the auto layout. When you do this, the other choice for you is, I said what? Recall it, what? The trait or the trait system, right? The trait collections. So the size classes mainly comes under that second category of traits, or the see it even here it talks about environmental variation. So that's where you mainly focus. So the size classes mainly comes under that second category. You will see why it is. So see, it says size classes are traits. So that second category I said is traits, right? The trait collection. So this concept is very important for you to keep in mind moving forward. When we do the practicals, you will see, right? So guys, remember first the theory, because it's important section. So you need to understand the theory before you touch the practicals, my friends, right? Before you touch the practical, right? So it's very important for you to keep that in mind, right? So then the size classes, right? So size classes are traits, right? So what are traits? Traits are environmental variations, right? So size classes are traits that are automatically assigned to content areas based on their size. So when you say based on their size, you can think for now, okay, iPad's screen size is different to iPhone screen size. In that case, you can think the iPad has a different size classes and the iPhone have different size class. In fact, that's true. That's how it works for you to understand, right? The system defines two size classes, okay, regular and compact, right? So regular denotes expansive space, meaning the space can be if I give it in a different way, it's like you have kind of plenty of space, right? Compact means you have less space, constrained space. One good example is comparatively, iPhone has a iPhone on, let us say, portrait mode. If you look at the iPhone in the normal angle, it has a compact width, right? It has a compact width because it's constrained, it's smaller. But compared to the iPhone uh, in portrait, the regular mode orientation, if you look at an iPad on it in its regular orientation, it has a compared to iPhone, it has much wider width. That means it's kind of compared to the iPhone, it's expansive space, right? So that is known as regular. That is known as regular. Now, for you to understand it further, now iPhone, come on, guys, what is it? So iPhone uh, on the portrait mode, right? On the portrait mode, as I said, the width is constrained. But the same iPhone on the portrait mode, the height is not constrained. Why? It is expandable. Why? You can scroll the app downwards, right? That's what you normally see in most of the apps. Users much prefer in a smaller, let's say in iPhone, users prefer to have like a one column format. That's what I mean. And users prefer to scroll down, right? And that one column format towards the width, it's constrained, but the height is not constrained because you can scroll up and down. So in that case, in an iPhone, in the portrait orientation, the width is compact, but the height is regular because height can be expanded. You can scroll up and down. But if you take a iPad on its portrait orientation, this regular, the portrait orientation in iPad, the width is also considered to be regular and the height is also considered to be regular. So this is the business of size classes. So if you understood what I said, right? Uh, so a view may possess any combination of size classes. So a view can come under regular width and regular height. Example, iPad, right? But let us say iPhone on portrait orientation, right? The width is compact but the height is regular. So this is what you have to understand, right? The business about size classes, right? This is the business about size classes for you to understand overall, my friends, right? First get the concept, right? And then there are some devices coming under the, say, compact width, compact height, or regular width. So it's either regular width, regular height, or compact width and a compact height, or regular with compact height, or compact with regular height. So all the devices, right? All the devices available iOS devices will be coming under one of these categories. If you look at this as four different categories, right? Okay, so the iPhone, as I said, is compact with a regular height, but there can be a slightly larger iPhone, right? A slightly larger iPhone with higher resolution and slightly larger screen dimension, right? Form factor. In that case, let us say when you turn it, that same iPhone, which was compact width and regular height, right? But the same iPhone with compact width and regular height, if you turn the orientation into, let us say, into landscape, then that environmental change makes it to come under different size category, which is, guess what is? What do you think, guys? Guess. So that can come under a regular width and a regular height. Why? Originally, when that particular iPhone was in the on the portrait direction, right? Then it has a constrained width. So that's why it comes under compact width but regular height. But if you turn that iPhone, if it has a much wider, form factor, if you turn it to the landscape orientation, then the same iPhone gets changed, the environment gets changed into regular width and regular height, because you will have some space towards the width. So which means the same, when you design an app, the same app in the same phone sometimes can come under compact width and regular height. It might, the same app on the same phone sometimes may run on a compact width and a regular height environment, or in the same phone, when the user change the orientation of the phone, the same app should now run on a different size, like regular width and regular height. So those are trait variations. So that trait variation will be automatically recognized by the runtime, by the iOS runtime, right? So as a developer, your role is just to make sure that if you need any changes from compact with regular height to regular with regular height, then you have to specify those changes, right? You have to specify those changes using this trait collection, meaning you have to react to the traits, meaning you have to react to the environmental. So that you have to, when you design your app, when you develop your app, that part you have to put it into the app, you have to code it, or you have to specify it, or you have to visually embed it. So that is what we are discussing. So hope now things are getting more and more clear to you guys, right? It's improve lot of knowledge, right? It's a lot of knowledge you are getting, right? So as with other environmental variations, iOS dynamically makes layout adjustments based on size classes. That's what I said. So the iOS runtime will dynamically make layout adjustments based on the size classes, but as a developer, you have to make sure to inform and keep what adjustments you want, right, based on the size classes. For example, I will give you one example. From compact with regular height, let us say that means an iPhone, let us say on its portrait direction, let us say the label, let us say there's a no let's say there's a small form, right, say small data entry form, right, and let us say in that data entry form, when you have the compact width and regular height, so the width is compact, right, so the spaces you might have from the corners maybe like say 20 pixels space from the right hand side to the edge, 20 pixels space from the left hand side of the form towards the edge. So 20 pixels both sides from the left side and the right side as the space to the margin or towards the end of the towards the lines, to border lines, right. But if you keep it as 20 pixels, right, now what will happen is when the user change their orientation, and if his iPhone goes into, let us say, regular width and regular height mode, the size class, what will happen is if it still maintains the same 20 pixels from the left and the right towards the end of the device, what will happen is in order to maintain that 20 pixels in the two sides, what should happen to the form? The form should get stretched. Hope you understand what I'm telling. The form should get stretched so that it can, once it gets stretched, uh, meaning it expands, right? When I say it should get stretched, I should put it in the right way. The form should get expanded, right? You have to, uh, it's like you are pulling it from the two sides, right? It's like you are pulling it from the two sides so that it stretches. So then what happens is sometimes the look and feel may look weird, a bit weird, because now it's stretched, it's expanded, right, in order to maintain that. So it may not look, give the best user interface experience, right. Now that is what, if you don't like that, then that is what you have to do. You have to specify, okay, if it changes from compact with regular height into, or say, regular with regular height, let us say you want to say, instead of having 20 pixels from the two sides, let's say I want 150 pixels each side, because there's plenty of space. So that you want to automatically, you want the app to adjust, instead of 20 pixels from the two sides to the margin, it's like 150 pixels from the two sides. But keep in mind, this doesn't happen automatically. This will not happen automatically. So that has to come as an input from you as a developer into the app to say, okay, on a regular with regular height, this is the change I'm expecting. Hope it's clear to you now, right? So if you have specified that, then what happens is iOS will dynamically make the layout adjustments. But you have to make sure you have to specify and keep it. Then what it means by iOS dynamically making layout adjustments is, then it will dynamically apply whether it's 20 pixels gap from the two sides, or is it 150 pixels. That is what it says. iOS can dynamically make layout adjustments based on the size classes of a content area, right. Hope it's getting more and more clear for you. For example, when the vertical size class changes from compact, right, height to regular height. So when I say vertical, so these are the two axes, horizontal axis and the vertical. Towards the horizontal side is the width, then the vertical is the height, right. So if you see vertical, so if you see horizontal, that's the height, that's the width. I repeat once again, if you see horizontal, that's the width. If you see vertical, that's the height, right. So think of the horizontal is like the width of the device, vertical is like the height of the device. So when you say vertical size class, it's the height, towards the height side. When the vertical size class changes from compact height to a regular height, if there's a device, right, perhaps because a user rotated the device from landscape to portrait, right. So what it says, if it's in landscape mode, let us say, if in the landscape mode, if a certain device comes under category of, let us say, vertical, the vertical height is compact, right, compact. But if it's changed back to portrait, then it will be regular height. So the compact height will change to regular height if you change from landscape to portrait, something like that, right. And the tab bars may become taller, the size may become taller, right? So that's something very important